Welcome back to the Blue Jay Way podcast. And before you guys start to wonder what the hell's going on with my attire right now, opening day is tomorrow. I'm excited. Chris is excited, but I just wanted to show you guys real quick what I'm working with. So basically, I got the Alek Manoah shirt, Vladdy Guerrero new blue jersey. I got my old man's classic Blue Jays jacket, and I got both my hats on my head. So we're good to go. Chris, buddy, how you doing, man?
I'm good, buddy. You look great. I'm sure you're pretty excited, and
Hell
that's why
yeah,
the
man.
attire is the way it is. And hey, I'm excited too. We got opening day. I guess less than 24 hours away. The next time we wake up, there will be a Blue Jays regular season game
Oh my God.
tomorrow, which is March 30th against the St. Louis Cardinals. Jack, it's all getting underway. Regular season, spring can get long, but today we're gonna obviously look ahead to the season, but we're gonna wrap up spring as well. We got plenty of things to get to. So Jack, let's get right to it. The Jays are heading to St. Louis as we speak, or they're probably there now. They were headed there yesterday after their spring game against the Phillies. And that's where they will open up this 2023 I guess it doesn't switch over to 24 in the MLB. So 2023 season.
Yeah.
It was against a good Cardinals team. Missing Adam Wainwright, some injuries on the pitching side, but a good lineup for some of these Blue Jays pitchers to face early on. And hopefully we can come out of there with a couple wins, maybe a sweep. Who knows? No, I can't get too greedy early on here. But yes, that is the big topic of discussion. Just Jack, maybe just give me some initial thoughts on opening day and how exciting it is and always is.
Oh, dude, it's, the expression spring is in the air. I don't really feel that when the spring equinox happens, when spring is actually officially here, according to the seasons here in Canada.
Like a week ago?
Yeah, something like that. I think it was last Thursday or something. I don't know. Yeah. But for me, I'm sure for you too, spring is in the air when baseball season officially kicks off during the regular season debuts. Spring training is whatever. It starts in February, whatever. Spring is in the air when baseball starts officially. So I'm super excited. I just want to touch on the game yesterday and the new statistics that have been brought to light. And this is something we were talking about earlier and yesterday. Yusei Kikuchi finished the spring. He came in relief yesterday for Jose Barrios, I believe, and struck out the side in his 2 2/3 innings of work. His first inning of work, he struck out the side. He finished the spring now. He led the all major league pitchers in strikeouts with 31 and ERA at 0.87. I know it's spring training, but I feel like this guy is 100% all the way back.
Yeah. I mean, he looks the eye test in spring training would lead you to believe that he is back and he's found something. But I think a bit of the thing with Kikuchi was kind of under pressure. Maybe he would, not perform his best. If he got knocked around a little bit, you would see him continue to struggle, continue to walk guys. So let's see him in a pressure-packed regular season game, maybe before we come through with his grand declaration that he's officially going to be a dominant force here. But I don't know how you can't really not like what you see in spring training. I mean, all the signs point to him having a good season as a fifth starter, which, you don't ask for too much from a fifth starter usually. So if he can give you more of the same from spring training here, you are laughing. You are loving that.
Yeah.
But I just think that, we've passed the first test of Kikuchi. But I think he's still got a bit to go here in terms of fully winning us back over because, spring is like you were saying, spring is spring. It's not it's not as pressure packed and you're not in these big stadiums with especially St. Louis, man. The fans there, I know they get on you.
They love their baseball.
I don't know if he's going to start there. He'll probably start in Kansas City in the Jays' second season. We'll get into the road trip facing the Jays early on in a bit. But I do think that Kikuchi's showing some great signs, and I'm excited to see him. Like I just want to see more of him now. It's like, all right, you've got me excited, and hopefully that when you take them out here in the regular season, that you can, continue to make Jays fans happy and then hopefully make himself happy and make some improvements. So all at the man. He looked incredible. Fastball was looking lively. He was hitting his spots. He was walking a couple guys here and there, but nothing that really spiraled out of control like we saw last year.
Nothing compared is night and day.
No. So yeah, very promising for the fifth guy in the rotation. That looks the rotation is looking good. Even Jose Barrios had some quality starts in spring. So yeah, the rotation is looking good. It is set. Alek Manoah. I know we didn't hop on exactly when he got announced, but Jack, you like that pick as opening day starter?
I think it's a vote of confidence for sure because, you know, we talked about last episode, I believe that, you know, would you go with Gausman or Manoah? And I stated you can't go any more wrong than the previous season. But, you know, the Jays offered the front office offered Manoah an extension in the winter, and apparently he called it insultingly low. So I think that this is kind of a, you know, like, hey, sorry we lowballed you, buddy, but we want you to know how valued you are to this franchise, and giving him the opening day nod, especially getting it from, you know, John Schneider, who's, to me, like, he rallies the troops. Like I saw a video of him talking in spring training to the guys on the last day, and he was like, we want to build an identity now of not just young guys who can hit the ball out of the ballpark. We want to build an identity. I'm paraphrasing, obviously. I don't exactly remember what he said, but basically it was like, we want to build an identity, like, you know, when people come into our stadium, they know exactly what they're getting. They're getting guys who do the small things, relay the ball properly, fighting off pitches for in an 0-2 count, like battling at the plate essentially, or like fighting
cut off man.
Hitting your cutoff, fighting for every inch. And that's exactly, I agree with that philosophy wholeheartedly. Like that is exactly what this team needs to be if they want to, this is going to sound corny, make it to the next level, because that's their whole campaign slogan, right?
I know last year was kind of funny. It's like, next level, are we making the World Series? Like, what's next? What is that next level?
Yeah, exactly. It's
I don't think we hit it last year.
No, it's an 0-2 finish in the wild card series. But hey, man, you know.
Anyways, yes, exciting times still.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just, you know, can't wait for this journey to start. I did see that video with Schneider, and it's a great point. I mean, the Jays made an effort, I think, this offseason to address needs on the field, but also, you know, address some big needs off the field. I think, you know, add some maturity to the clubhouse. A lot of veterans who you know are going to put the work in and are no nonsense and have seen it all and have led clubhouses before. It's you can definitely, it's no secret, I don't think, what the Jays are trying to build. And the team is looking pretty good as they break camp here and head to St. Louis. Let's just round out the roster, because for the most part the roster was set. Like, you know, there weren't too many jobs up for grabs except for one. I would say that was the fifth outfielder, and to some people, this might be a surprise. If you watch spring training, I don't know if it would come as too much of a surprise, because this guy had a good spring, and he's had a couple of good springs now. And he's a lefty, and he's a solid contributor, at least in spring training. And that's the fourth outfielder spot here went to Nathan Lucas, which is very interesting. And, you know, it was kind of between Vinny Capra, Otto Lopez, and Lucas there for the final roster spot to open the season here. And Lucas ended up doing it. He had a good average, 286 in the spring, 6 RBI, lefty, and a really, really good defender.
Yep.
So Jack, I'll just flip it over to you. Is that something that, you know, makes sense to you? Is that, after spring training, probably the guy who deserved it the most?
You know what? I'm honestly shocked they didn't go with Otto Lopez. And because he had a great showing at the WBC. He was arguably Canada's best player other than Tyler O'Neill. And, well, Freddie Freeman, you know, left with a hamstring issue. But Otto Lopez had a great showing at the WBC. And then when he came back, he was consistent. But, you know, Lucas has paid his dues. He's been in the minors for a long time, since 2015, I believe, is what I saw on his reference page. Again, though, he's a plus defender. His career average on not OPS, on his fielding percentage is around 995, which is really good. I know it's the minors, but if you can play your position well, and he can play everywhere in the outfield, which is fantastic. If you know, Kiermaier or Springer needs a day off, you can put Lucas in as a substitute. But you know, he's a lefty bat too. He's a big guy.
I wonder how much that played into it, him being a lefty bat.
Well, let's see. Who do the Jays have that are lefties right now? Brandon Belt, Kevin Kiermaier, Dalton Varsho, and Cavan Biggio.
Yeah.
And then adding Lucas gives them 5.
Yeah.
Which they were focusing heavy on getting more lefties in the lineup because there were last year that we'd see lineups come out right. I was like, where's the mix of a lefty, And they've done it this year, and that's exactly what they were looking to do. And I think Lucas as the 4th outfielder in the final roster spot makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And I'm happy for him. He paid his dues. He worked his ass off to get to where he is, and now he's going to be a major leaguer. So
yeah. No, it's a cool story. And I mean, watching him in spring training, he made a lot of plays. Like he out in the field, he was, diving for balls, making sliding grabs in the outfield. I've seen him take some really solid at-bats as well in the spring. So, he looks like a guy who understands kind of what his role is. He plays hard every time that he's on the field, and that's all you can really ask for from the 4th outfielder. So yeah, I'm excited to see him maybe get into some games, maybe get some starts if some guys are getting rested early on in the season here.
Yep.
I think he can be a contributor of some sort. So yeah, congrats to Nathan Lucas making the team. Always very cool to see guys make teams and get some emotional reactions and stuff like that. Didn't get any from him per se, but it's still I'm sure he's very, very, very happy and excited. So maybe at the end of the episode here, we'll go through the 10-game road trip that the Jays are starting off on.
Yeah.
But let's get into some kind of season preview type things, some hypotheticals, some theoreticals here. So let's go through an X factor in the Jays season. Maybe the biggest, X factor, the biggest, or a guy that you're looking at who needs to step up, who needs to have a massive impact in order to get the Jays to where they need to be. I'll start with this one. And I'm going to kind of lump some guys together, actually. I think the veteran lefties, we're going to call them the veteran lefties. And we're going to lump Varsho in there, even though he's not much of a veteran. But maybe the newly acquired lefties.
All right, we'll call them that.
I think those guys are going to be huge.
Oh, yeah.
For this season. Brandon Belt, Kevin Kiermaier, Dalton Varsho. Those 3 guys providing balance to the lineup is going to be huge. Nothing is guaranteed about these guys either. Like there's a lot of question marks still up in the air, I think, with Belt and the fact that they had him batting cleanup for a lot of the spring. I thought that was a big thing that could, really help the Jays if he can get hot and if he can have, professional at bats like he's had all season and, been able to get balls in play.
Yeah.
Driving guys in. I think that's a massive storyline, how that cleanup spot kind of shakes out, because yesterday I saw that they moved Varsho into that spot. So I think one of those lefties, it won't be Kiermaier, but Varsho or Belt are going to be hitting in a very, very important part of this lineup.
Yes.
I think that how they perform is going to, contribute massively towards the Jays' success. Yeah. I think that those 2 guys, and even Kiermaier at the bottom of the lineup, getting on base and hustling around the bases and being a menace on the base pass, I think those 3 guys are going to be massive this season. And, they should be, because they were the moves that the Jays made this offseason. They are the difference between this year and last year. And I think that, those guys are going to be a massive either, X factor or maybe, a problem that you have to sort out if they don't perform, but I'm really not too concerned about that.
No, and I agree exactly with what you said. We saw Belt a lot in the cleanup spot when he reported to spring training.
Yeah, they don't have a cleanup hitter. I don't think. You had a locked in cleanup hitter.
You had Kirk last year, and then sometimes it was Bo, sometimes it was Vlad. You're right. I think
the break glass in case of emergency plan is Bo.
Yeah.
But
no, right now, 2 things. I think that they gave Brandon Belt the 4 spot, 1, so he'd see more at bats when he got there, because he did show up late to spring training. Nope, not his fault. He had, I believe, some property issues with selling his house in San Francisco with his wife and his kids. So, it is what it is, but getting him more at bats, getting him to see more pitches. But if I remember correctly, his first 5 plate appearances, 3 walks and 2 doubles in the spring. So we know he has we know he has the plate discipline. We know he has the ability to drive the ball into the gaps. I'm excited to see what the new dimensions at the Rogers Center. If he can DH regularly, again, at least against righties, we could see him have one of the best comeback seasons of the year. I'd argue he's good for 30 home runs and 80 plus ribbies with a 260 average.
Yeah.
I don't see how that wouldn't be the case. If he's the designated hitter every day, for say every 4 days, once every 4 days, or every 5 days, he takes a day off to get Springer in there or whatever to get him off his feet. But if he can be the everyday DH, I don't see anything stopping him other than an injury. So knock on wood.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think those guys are massive. Any other X factors or guys you think are going to make huge impacts, or kind of the season, a lot of the season depends on these guys?
Is it too much to talk about Kikuchi again?
What about Berrios?
No, I'm sorry. And as you said, when you said earlier that Kikuchi is a solid 5th starter, I'd argue he's their 4th starter, and you put Berrios in the 5 spot. That could happen
quickly.
They're playing Kansas City, and Berrios and Kikuchi are going to pitch against Kansas City.
Yeah.
If Kikuchi goes out, strikes out 10 guys, gives up 1 run, 1 walk, and goes for 6 2/3, and then the day after or the day before, Berrios, gave up 5 earned runs, struck out 4, walked 5. To me, Schneider goes, okay, Jose, you're going down. You say you're coming up.
Yeah.
You got to be cut. If you want to win, you got to be cutthroat. That's my philosophy. Is if they're paying you to be productive and to be good, and if you're not doing your job, I'm sorry, Jose, I love you, but you need to execute your pitches. And it's been shaky. We saw it all spring. Saw it in the WBC. It hasn't been consistent. Kikuchi, on the other hand, he's been the best. He's been the best pitcher in spring training of anyone else. Better than DeGrom, better than Scherzer, better than Verlander, better than Kershaw, better than everybody. Everybody. So that's my 2 cents on it. We're going to see in Kansas City, and if Berrios gets shelled by a very inexperienced offense in Kansas City, I don't know what else there is to do other than move him down to the 5 spot and move Kikuchi up to the 4.
Yeah, I mean, results speak for themselves. Not much arguing here. I mean, I truly hope that Berrios can put together a decent stretch here to start the year.
Yeah, that'd be nice. That'd be ideal.
Consistent starts. He doesn't have to be perfect. He can allow some runs, but just get a bit deeper into games. Show that you're willing to make some adjustments on the mound when things aren't going your way. Show you're able to wiggle out of these tight spots, these situations where you ended up getting blown up last season. And, I think that's enough. But I really hope that Berrios can have a big season and start living up to that contract, because that's always the knock against him, the contract. And yeah, it's a big one, and he hasn't lived up to it yet. But there's plenty of time left, and his last couple starts in spring were okay. He gave us some runs yesterday, but he's been okay.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get into some specifics. The big boys in the lineup.
Yes.
Vladimir Guerrero Jr. and Bo Bichette both had some good moments in spring.
Yeah.
So Jack, quite simply, Vladdy obviously in 2021 had an incredible season. If Shohei Ohtani wasn't,
a unicorn,
he'd be an MVP winner. If Shohei Ohtani wasn't such a freak of nature, Vlad would have an MVP from that 2021 season. But it was incredible. Hank Aaron Award, 6 home runs,
48.
48, just an incredible season. So is it realistic to say that if all goes well, Vlad can return to that form, or are we looking at a similar season to last year, or do you think he's set to go and he's going to have another massive season?
Oh, dude, from what I saw this spring, hands down, we're seeing Vladdy return to 2021 form. If he stays healthy, when he stays healthy, he's got the durability of an ox, man. That guy just goes in and day out. But in all honesty, I can see Vladdy easily hitting 40 plus dingers this year, easily hit 100 at ribbies. I'm going to say his average will be between 285 and 300 throughout the entire season. Last year was around 278 or 282, somewhere in that range. But even if last year was a down year for Vladimir Guerrero Jr., 30 plus home runs, 90 plus ribbies, come on, that's all-star. He's an all-star.
Yeah.
He just has to go back to superstar form, which he's more than capable of doing. And yeah, I could seriously see him being in the MVP conversation and Hank Aaron Award conversation come the end of this year for sure.
Yeah. Do you think there's anything that he needs to add to his game, or do you think there's anywhere you'd like to see him improve, or do you think, he's pretty much set with where
I mean, the only thing that I saw last year compared to 2021 was his plate discipline. He was in 2021. He was at borderline pitches. He was like, I ain't hitting that. Spit on it. Be like, that's a ball.
Yeah. He was waiting for his pitch that he loved, and he was crushing it when he got it. Yeah.
Anything middle in for him is his wheelhouse, right? Yeah. Doesn't matter. But last year we saw him swinging at a lot of pitches that were down and away, and but everyone goes through a down year when pitchers are like, oh, this is what we can get this guy out on. But then it's up to the hitter, and Vladdy is great at this, is adjusting and working on it in the offseason, which is exactly what he did. We saw in the spring. He was swinging at his pitch. He wasn't going after what they wanted to go after. He was like, no, I'll take an 0-1 count with your little slider on the outside corner. I'm just gonna wait and bye.
No, I remember that. Bye. Yeah, I remember that vividly about Vlad in that 2021 season. Is him just nodding almost at the plate. Like, okay, I saw that, but that's not my pitch. Like pitch. I see that, but it's not. I'm not comfortable swinging at that right now. I'm gonna dictate this at bat on my terms, and I'm going to end up getting a pitch that I can do some damage on. And I remember that Vlad and being super impressed with that at such a young age. So yes, I agree. I hope that he's able to, really zone in and zone up these pitchers and really, go after what he loves. The other young buck, the other guy who's been tied to Vlad forever and is he's got superstar potential, super exciting player, Bo Bichette. He had a great spring, Jack. He had an incredible spring.
I'd argue the best spring of any Blue Jay other than Kikuchi.
Yeah, it was pretty impressive. I mean, he hit over 5 home runs. I think he hit 6 or so in spring training, a couple of majestic home runs out to left field there in Dunedin.
Batted well over 300.
Off a lot of hanging breaking balls. Bo does some damage on those pitches. Yeah. And, in the past couple of seasons, Bo's, been the AL hits leader. The average maybe isn't where a lot of fans would like it to be. There's some frustrating at bats with Bo. But do you think this is the year that he, puts it all together and he can maybe, take home some hardware, get some real recognition in the league as being, and maybe even that too, maybe even some cash at the end of the season.
I'm just saying, even that he got the bag already. He got that $33 million deal, right? So to avoid arbitration, and that I think now that he's like, hey, I got $11 million coming in my bank account, so I gotta go out and perform. So, and that's exactly what we saw in the spring. I think that Bo to me is wears his heart on his sleeve, he cares a lot about his individual performance, but from a perspective of I'm letting the team down because I'm not doing my job, right? He gives a shit. That's the base of it all. And yeah, I've given him flack in the past about his defense, but from what I saw offensively, if he can just sit at the point where he's at with his offense and then focus on defense as far as drills and stuff, between games or before the games, there's no telling the potential that this guy has. He is going to be I think this year, Silver Slugger award at shortstop, which I don't know how the hell he didn't win it last year. Realistically, I don't know. I don't even know who won it. I was just in disbelief that Bo lost it. And I can see him winning the batting title in the AL for sure. Like the only guys he's going to have to come up against to me are Yordan Alvarez, who's a great fucking hitter. He's so good. But that's really the only name I can think of that would give Bo a run for highest average in the American League.
I mean, yeah, now that because the batting title last year was a Rise, right? So he's in the NL now.
Yep. Oh, that's the batting title. But who won the Silver Slugger last year at shortstop?
I'm looking it up right now.
Corey Seager, no. Tim Anderson, maybe? No, it wouldn't have been Timmy, I don't think.
Xander. So he's gone as well from the AL. So yeah, Xander Bogaerts won it last year.
Just engrave it already. Just engrave it, Bo Bichette.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a realistic, man. Bo, he's such a fun player to watch. Just
Yeah,
the kind of the viciousness of everything that he does. I mean,
his tennis background is what makes him such a good hitter too. We've heard him talk about it.
He's just almost like, just I don't know. He almost like punishes the ball, and like it looks like he's punishing the ball, punishing the pitcher for throwing a bad pitch.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this guy he's electric, and I think his defense in spring training too has been very promising. I don't know if he made an error. There wasn't one when I was watching that I saw that.
I caught a few of the games.
Maybe a couple. But I think for the most part he had a good defensive spring, and like you said, Jack, he's feeling good after getting that paycheck.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we can expect a big season from Bo. All signs are pointing to that, and that would just be awesome because, man, when he's on, he's one of the most electric players to watch in the league. And yeah, super excited for Bo. All signs are looking good there.
Mm-hmm. I'm looking at his spring training numbers right now. In 54 at bats, he had 11 runs, 17 hits, 4 homers, 9 ribbies, three stolen bases, which is only good. 10 less than he had all season last year. Mm-hmm. So he's moving his feet again.
I think they're going to try and be more aggressive on the bases in general too.
Yeah. 315 average and an OPS of 936. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if that's any indication for what we're going to see, I'm a happy guy.
Yeah.
But OPS over 900.
Yeah. Yeah. And he's a guy that over a course of a full season could do that if he, works on being patient and drawing some walks here and there too. And, his slugging percentage is always going to be up there.
It's always 500 plus. It's his on base and his play and his walks that kind of bring his OPS down. But again, we saw him walking a lot more in the last 2 months of the season last year. We went on that ridiculous run.
Yeah, I think that was the key to that too, is, get your pitch. Don't start at bats down 0-2 because you swung at, a couple pitches that you aren't comfortable with,
But keep that 2-strike approach.
Yeah. Yeah. That's always a special thing too with Bo is whacking balls the other way, taking some tough pitches, fouling them off. He's quite an impressive hitter.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So yeah, we got some hitters covered, and let's move to the mound where the Blue Jays have 2 absolute studs out there. We've already touched on a bit of Manoah in the opening day start. He'll be followed up by Kevin Gausman. And I think, Manoah's taking on Michaelis in game 1.
Yes. And then it'll be Jordan Montgomery.
Is it Monty? Okay.
That's what I read on Twitter. Okay. Yeah, it's going to be Jordan Montgomery.
Flaherty.
No, sorry. It is. Sorry. It's Michaelis, then Flaherty, then Montgomery. So it'll be Bassett versus Montgomery. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, well, yeah, I like all those matchups, actually. I think the Blue Jays have an edge in a couple of them as well. But both of these guys, Alek Manoah and Kevin Gausman, I mean, they are premier pitchers in the American League. They're the cream of the crop. And do you think it's realistic to think that either of them can win a Cy Young this season, Jack? Or do you think that's a little too much to ask?
Oh, 100%. One of them, or there's no doubt in my mind. Last year, Manoah was third in Cy Young voting, right? Yeah. Gausman has been picked by Jeff Passan, and Jeff Passan knows his stuff.
Gausman is great value on betting apps too, if you want to.
Yep, and he has Gausman pegged as the AL Cy Young winner this year because of what he saw in spring. Gausman was filthy.
Yep.
Filthy.
Didn't give up a run.
No.
In the spring.
Yeah.
Ridiculous, yeah.
Limited amount of starts, but hey, that's all good with me, man. I'll take it.
Yeah, no, yeah. I think realistically, yeah, I think either of them could do it. Obviously, it depends on what other guys are doing. But I think, what we've seen from Manoah in his career so far, the amount of innings he pitches, how deep he goes into games, how uncomfortable he makes guys at the plate. I think that's a recipe for, some very, very good numbers and, a nationally recognized season. And then Kevin Gausman, man, this guy is he's just got the best pitch in the big leagues. And it's just such a weapon for him. And
how many guys can say that they get away with throwing 2 pitches a game and still have over 200 strikeouts and have an ERA under 4? How many guys can truly say that?
You just have to. The thing with Gausman, I think you just got to limit those bad days, or limit the damage from the bad days when maybe the splitter isn't as sharp as it usually is, because it's such an important pitch.
Yeah, but then go to the slider, your circle change. Like he's got two other pitches he can throw in the mix.
He's got some ways he can kind of wiggle around it, but I remember some starts last year, teams knew what was coming with him. He became a bit predictable in starts, and they were able to lay off the splitter. And
are you thinking about the same game I'm thinking about?
Yeah, the Twins game. Yeah. When he was tipping or something, and they were just laying off the splitter, and then a fastball would come in and in the zone, and they would be ready for that too. So I agree with you, Jack. Though I think either guy could win a Cy Young. It's pretty nice to have two guys at the front end of your rotation there that could be Cy Young candidates. And I think we've seen a shift in the Jays the past couple of years, going from an elite offensive team to a more well-balanced team, and I think that was a point of emphasis, and I think they did a good job in the offseason here of getting it in. So we're looking at a well-rounded team to start the year. And another thing about the start of the year is that the Blue Jays will not be in Toronto for a while. So we'll quickly go over the 10-game road trip that the boys will be starting on. This is a crucial we're getting right into it. Like these are some big games, because you don't want to come home with your tail between your legs. You don't want to limp home at the end of this road trip. You want to come out the gate flying. It's a bit tougher when you're not in front of your home fans, but
Jays fans travel well though too. They do. They really do.
They do. I'm not sure how well to these places in particular. I'm sure there will be a good amount of them, but so we got St. Louis for 3 games. We've already kind of gone over the pitching matchups there. I think the Jays, with who they've got going on the mound, I think 2 out of 3 is very realistic there. And then they head to Kansas City for 4 games, maybe even more important, because Kansas City Royals,
they're rebuilding.
Their outlook is for this season, I think, is better than it's been in years past. Like I think they have some guys that the fans there can look at and be like, okay, we're building here. We've got some really exciting young talent. Brady Singer obviously is a good starter, but
Vinny Pasquantino as first baseman.
Actually, I think the Jays will see Brady Singer probably, because I think
he'll be first. He'll be first.
Well, he's starting opening day, so they'll probably play 3 games, and then the first 2 of that series, they'll probably pitch in like the 3rd game of that series or whatever.
They're going to see Zach Greinke. I saw Singer was on that list, Jordan Lyles, and one other pitcher.
Anyways, you got to take 4 out of 3 from the Royals. That's
4 out of 3? 3 out of 4.
Oh, 3 out of 4. Sorry. That's my kind of thought process here is you got to do work in that Royals series. You got a series under your belt. You got to come in there hopefully feeling confident, and the Royals aren't at your level right now, so you can't let them think that they are, or you can't get beat 3 out of 4 times against that team. And then this is great. I actually love this. Their next opponent is the LA Angels.
3-game series.
An electric team to watch. And the Jays have had a lot of success in LA. They obviously got a 4-game sweep there last year against the Angels. And I think every game they won there was by 1 run.
Funnily enough.
Remember those games? I remember just feeling so bad for Angels fans. It was in the midst of their, I think, like 11-game losing streak in the early part of last season. And it just looked so miserable there.
It was not good.
Obviously, some of the biggest stars in the league are going to be going head-to-head against the Blue Jays. You got Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani, obviously, which is always a good time. You can never really go wrong watching those guys, even if they're playing your favorite team. And the thing about the Angels, too, is they always start well and then tail off. So it'll be interesting to see how they're playing coming into this. Obviously, they've got 2 of the most talented players of all time. But realistically, if you're looking at this 10-game road trip, I think 6 wins is the minimum.
8 is the max, probably.
8's probably the maximum. If everything goes perfectly, maybe you sweep the Cardinals, get 3 or 4 against the Royals, and
2 or 3 against the Angels.
3 against the Angels. That's ideal.
I'm just curious what the pitching matchup is going to be for if we're probably going to see Ohtani in that series.
Well, I don't know.
He'll be starting opening day.
He'll be starting opening day, and then he'll probably start again in their second series.
Yeah, but then the 3rd game of the like he'll maybe start the.
Let's count it out. Jack, ramble on about something. Road trip.
I mean, I'm excited to see the Jays play the Angels. I think that's the most intriguing series. Don't get me wrong. I love Nolan Arenado. I love Paul Goldschmidt.
Yeah, the Cardinals, like.
They're a great team. They are.
Their lineup is.
Their starting pitching is deep. Like they don't have a true number one.
If they had Waino, it looks a lot different. I will say that.
Yeah. I mean, they don't have a true number one, realistically. For me, it's a matter of the Angels and Jays going on and playing each other, because just seeing watching Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani even on television is a treat. Like it's one of the best experiences. I'd love to see them live at the Rogers Center. That's on my bucket list over the next couple of seasons. Hopefully this year I can get tickets to one of the games, but
absolutely.
Yeah. We're close to running out of time here, Chris. We're just over 2 minutes left, but
no, my bad. I couldn't find out.
It's all good. We'll see what happens. We'll keep everyone updated.
Yeah, we'll obviously have some season or some series breakdowns, starting probably Sunday or Monday on this series against the Cardinals. That'll be the next time you hear from us. After some regular season ball, it's very exciting, man. Yeah. I really do like the makeup of this team. Yeah. I think it's a balanced team. I think it's a team that could do some damage. Over under, Jack, 93.5 wins.
Over. I got them going 96 and 66.
I think that's very fair.
That's what I got them going.
And quickly, do they win the division?
Yes.
I think winning the division is a massive thing for this group.
The Yankees starting rotation is in shambles.
They have
Rodon, Montas, Severino, and Cortez all injured. It's Garrett Cole and AAA starters.
Yeah,
and all it takes.
They're going to have to get through those injuries and hopefully stay afloat.
Average age of the New York Yankees is 34 years old. Judge is 30, Stanton's 34, Rizzo's 34, Donaldson's 37, LeMahieu's 34. One injury to Aaron Judge, I'm telling you, season's over. Pack it in, Yankees fans. And a quick one here. For the guys at Barstool who said Alek Manoah was too fat for the pitch clock, you don't know shit about baseball. Keep your mouth shut and keep his name out of your mouth.
Oh, yeah. We love Alek on the show. We will defend Alek.
Do not talk shit about the big Puma.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not a guy I'd want to say anything to anywhere, anytime.
Yeah. All right.
But anyways, yes, time to wrap up. From Jack Ryan, I'm Chris May. This has been a great little season preview. Let's get fired up here. One sleep away from Blue Jays baseball. This has been the Blue Jay Way podcast, and we will talk to you guys after we get some action here in the next couple of days. Talk to you guys soon. See ya.
Take it easy, folks.